Hi, this is Chris Cook from 3M Commercial Graphics. Today we're going to be talking about trimming when you're doing a car wrap. One of the questions I have pretty commonly in our training classes is, should I cut on the paintwork of the vehicle? And sometimes you have to. If you can avoid it, but sometimes the design of the graphics mean that you actually do need to trim somewhere on the panel. And you certainly can do it, you just need to do it very carefully. And it's something that you do need to practice. So what I'd like to show you is the method that I use for trimming on the paint without actually scratching the paint itself. The key thing to remember if you're going to try this is that you don't actually need to cut all the way through the film. You really just need to put a good score through the film so that the film will actually split along that line. So what you're really trying to do is just control your blade pressure very carefully so that you're quite deeply scoring the film, but not actually cutting all the way through the film and through the adhesive layer so that you touch the paint. Now there are a couple of key things. First thing is always do this with a brand new sharp blade. So always snap off a blade so that you've got a nice clean brand new edge. We want that edge to be the same whenever we're doing this so that we can control that pressure. Next thing I like to do is actually extend the blade a little bit because I want to have a good long length of blade out there. I find that makes it easier to control the pressure. Holding the knife, I hold mine between my thumb and middle finger, then that lets me use my index finger to actually apply the pressure to the blade. And I'm actually going to apply very, very little pressure. I'm almost just basically going to be dragging the knife along the surface. So what I'm going to do is, say we need to put a nice curved sort of trim through this. Now you can use masking tape if you like to actually mask up the line before you start. Mark it with a China graph pencil or whatever's appropriate. But what we're going to do is we're going to use that tip of the blade just with that very tiny amount of pressure from my finger just to lightly score through that surface of the film. So we're going to come down here. Now notice how I'm holding quite a way back from the blade. That lets me put a very tight control over the pressure. And also holding a long knife actually lets you make nice smooth curves. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is actually go and locate the start of my cut, which is there. And what I should find is that if I start removing that film, it should split nice and neatly along that line that we've actually trimmed. You can see it's peeling away and splitting nice, giving us a nice clean cut. Because I've held that blade at quite a long length, you also see that it's allowed us to make very smooth curves as well. Okay, so we've done our trim. Now, obviously you're not going to do this on a real job, but if I was to peel back the film on the other side here, what I want to look for is no actual score mark in the paint. And that tells me I've been successful. I've trimmed the film, but I actually haven't cut so deeply that I've cut all the way through the film, through the adhesive, and actually into the paintwork of the vehicle. So I've managed to put in my trim without actually damaging the paintwork. Now this is a really important skill to have if you are going to do car wraps, and it is something that really only comes with practice. I showed you the way that I like to hold my blade. Other people will hold it differently, but the key thing really is to practice it. And probably you want to practice this before you actually get onto a customer's vehicle. What I like to suggest to people is just get a piece of 3mm acrylic or some other fairly soft substrate, apply a piece of film to it, and actually use that to practice on. That lets you get the feel for how much blade weight do you need to use to get through the film or to score the film without actually damaging the substrate. And the good thing about using acrylic is that it is quite soft, and it will certainly show you if you've cut too deeply. So again, successful there. I haven't actually scored the acrylic. So it really is all about controlling that blade weight very carefully. Go away and practice it before you do it on a customer's vehicle. But it certainly is a very handy skill to have, and your customers will appreciate it when they take the graphics off. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope that was useful. Please, if there are any particular topics that you would like us to shoot in this series of videos, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section with your suggestions. Thank you very much.